Hello, everybody. I'm going to give us a second to log on. Let's see. Hey, y'all. We're going to get started in a quick second. It's been a couple of days since y'all have seen my face, and I am grateful for the extension of grace and understanding during this time. Give it like 2 more minutes. All right, 1 more minute because I'm not going to be on here long. I just wanted to come on and give a quick catch up update. I have been doing these lives for at least 2 weeks now, and um, I said a little while ago about my grandfather passing away. His funeral was, it wasn't a funeral, his celebration of life was Saturday. Um, yeah, because today's Monday, was Saturday, and which was also my baby's birthday. And so the past couple of days have been very emotionally raw, as well as eye opening, right? So leading up to his services, of course, people were, like flooding us with just, you know, words of comfort and just coming by, making sure, like my mom and us, we had food, all of that type of stuff or whatever. And so, it was like always something going on. So it's kind of, in a sense, a good distraction for the day ahead, right? So I was already trying to mentally prepare myself to not respond the way that I've always responded to death, right? In seasons past, I have been the one to really, I don't want to say act out, but to lose it, right? I've always been that one to really kind of like lose it within um, grief, right, and death. And so I've never liked funerals. I've never liked to go. Like, you have to be extremely close, like immediate family, for me to go to a service like that. So I was preparing myself as much as I could and just kind of trying to get the emotions out as much as I could. And throughout that process, like, my family was kind of worried because, again, seasons past, I have not handled it well. So I was, okay, Paris, you have to try to pull it together, not just for the sake of being strong, but also to give your mother the capacity to release because my mom is a very internalized person. She was his caretaker and that was her father. Yes, we had a very close relationship, but she needed an opportunity to be able to grieve without worrying about me. Of course, I know, like, and everybody knew that, like, how our relationship was, but she deserves that right to feel and to express and to go through those emotions, especially as someone who heavily internalizes so many things. So, I was very mindful of that. Again, lots and lots of crying, and I'm not saying that it's better now. Um, well, I'm not it is better to a certain degree, but I'm not saying that in a sense of I'm over it because that man was my heart. But I will say I have found myself smiling a little bit more. Um, but so to get to everybody coming over, showering us with love, food, and words of comfort, all that good things, and then to get to the day of the services, which was Saturday. I was I was okay. Again, heavily distracted. I'm making sure everybody is looking nice. I did my mom's makeup, my sister makeup, my little cousin, like I'm getting them dressed. I styled my mom, like I'm trying to do all of the things to like, not really deal with it because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be okay. It's a new season, Paris. God is taking you. And my mom comes in here as I'm getting dressed. And of course, I know what I'm getting dressed for. But she says, the family car is outside. They're ready to go. Baby, undone. Because now, even though I knew what I was preparing for, reality hits. Because now it's no denying what I'm here for. It's no denying what these people are sending their condolences and their prayers for, which was irritating me. And it wasn't because um I was not grateful. It was really because I was in a space of it made it all too real. Like I didn't want to hear, sorry for your loss. Oh, I'm praying for you. He was a good man. I know these things. Like I just want to walk in the store and just walk out. But I'm grateful for that as well. But yeah, so we're getting there and I'm coming unhinged because it's like, oh wow, this is like the day I really have to like seal it. Like I really have to say goodbye. And I wasn't ready for that. My heart could not handle goodbye. And so I'm trying to pull it together. Again, now mind you, Saturday was not only just the services for my grandfather, but it was my baby's ninth birthday. And so oh my God, that kid is amazing. He's such a trooper. Of course, he's sad because he loved his papa. That's what he called him. Um, and when we get to the church, by this point, we're getting out of the car to get in the line. I am no good. You know, just I don't want to walk in. I don't want to do anything. My baby looks to me. He says, "Mom, it's okay, and I need you to be strong because Papa would want you to be strong because he's better." What I did on this side of heaven to deserve a kid like this, I have no idea, but I'm grateful. So I'm trying to pull it together for him as well because as much as I loved my grandfather, I could not allow death to loom over his life and his birthday, um, because he deserves to be celebrated as well. And my grandfather would have wanted him to have a celebration. So, in the midst of, you know, the the crying and having to come face to face with my personal Superman, he's not Superman anymore. He's literally not here. Looking at him like how we talk about like his big hard hands because he had to work or he had to pick cotton when he was younger. He had a hard life and how Baby, you gotta get you a hardworking man because a man that'll work is a man that you can count on. Just all of these things. I'm looking at this person, this superhero that cannot talk back to me, that cannot hold me, that cannot do and be this person, and it tore me to shreds just thinking about it. And him being asleep is like, this is not real life. Like, this isn't reality. Um, and so I cry, I get all of these things out, and I get to my seat, and my uncles, God bless them, because I don't know. I know the strength comes from God, but I could not imagine eulogizing my parents' services. But by the time it came around, that the word was going forth, and I just began to thank God, like, for the level of knowing that I have, to know that, like, he lived a good life. He was a good man. He instilled so much, um, that this isn't a somber occasion, because only somebody who didn't live their life well deserve to be able to have a gloomy occasion. This was a man who lived well, who lived long. God lended him to us for 84 years. So this was a joyous occasion, and as much as we don't want to release, we had to be able to rejoice in that. So as the word is going forth, I felt myself, my spirit, and my flesh wrestling with each other. My flesh wanted to jump up, to scream, to tell them to stop, to shake him, to wake him, to tear things down, to just lose it. But my spirit said, baby, God is still good. He still has his hand in this. He still has his hand on you. Like, your family is still blessed, even despite, like, even in the middle of this. And it was a war. I could feel the tug of war within myself. Like, this is a fight. Like, because again, my flesh is used to prevailing in instances like this. But now my spirit is so strong that it's like, it's yearning for the word to come forth. What are you going to say? What scriptures are you going to read? Because that is the only comfort that I can truly find is in the word of God. And so, again, there's still pockets of extreme lows throughout these services, because, they're closing the casket where I can't see him. And then we have to go to the actual gravesite and the lowering and ash to ash, dust to dust. And I'm like, I cannot bear to see my Superman lowered in the ground. I cannot. So I had to step away because that was a bit much. But when it was all said and done, I heard the word that God said was, this is not final. And I've been holding on to Ecclesiastes 12, verse 7 in particular. And I'm going to read it to you because this is really just a catch up, because I have not done this live in the past like 3 days. Just because, and it wasn't necessarily because I didn't want to, but God really, he's so gracious, man. And he's so kind, and he's so good, because he allowed me those days of not going live so I could sit in his presence to get what he wanted me to get. So the whole chapter of Ecclesiastes 12, but verse 7 says, the dust will return to the earth as it was, and the spirit will return to God who gave it. And for me, when I heard death was not final, it was a moniker of this text, right? It was the fulfillment of this, because what do we talk about every day in our lives as Christians, as believers, or even on this journey to Paris. What is it about? It's about getting back to my original design, that spiritual being that God allowed flesh to come out of dust to form this human person and place into my mother's womb. It's about fulfilling the destiny and the calling, the assignment of that spiritual being, denying your humanity, right? Well, denying, all of those things. And so when I heard that word go forth, God comforted me because it was, I had, even though I'm grieving, even though I'm sad and I'm going to miss him, I have to rejoice because he has the fulfillment of something that we all are still striving for. He's back to his original design. He's back to his original space. He's with the creator where there is no mourning, there is no sickness, no illness. Like in the last couple of days, like he was weaker. And Ecclesiastes talk about that too, how we were weak and frail and they are shaking, and he was all of those things. And so I have to not to be so selfish to hold on to a person, one, who was never mine. God was gracious enough to give him to me, but he was never fully mine. Um, but to realize that I have to release him because this isn't the end. He has fulfilled the very thing that that we spend our lives on earth striving for, which is to be our original design and back with the one who created us. And so because of that, as I continue on this journey, it gives me a little bit of hope, a little bit of comfort and solace in knowing that I can miss him. I can, remember him and think of the great times and cry even. But his journey is the greatest journey there is. He lived well. He lived on purpose. And God was gracious enough to grant a bloodline, a blessing of him, and that he's back in a space that where he was always supposed to be. He was pulled down from that space to be here. And God was gracious enough to think of me to receive him. So because his journey has ended in the earth, it does not stop his journey in ascending in the spiritual realm. And because I have that level of awareness, it makes it easier to bear. And even when I want to lose it, I'll never. God is he's so good. But he's very calm, but he's very firm with me in this space. And he said to me in my car, I sat out there crying. He said, Paris, I love you and I understand, but you know too much to respond the way that your flesh is asking for you to. Some of us, we feel like we're being pulled and we don't have any leeway. It's because you know too much. When you come into the level of knowing and understanding of the things of God, the standard for your life has to arise, meaning you cannot afford to act at the level of your flesh or what some other lowly desire you have, though it might be justified. You might feel like it's warranted, but you don't have the right to do so. And that's what I had to realize. Is it warranted? Could it be justified? Yes. But is it in alignment with God? Does it contradict everything that I know? Does it contradict what I preach, pray, and prophesy about, or evangelize about, or teach about? I'm held to the standard of my knowledge. The Bible says that my people perish for the lack of knowledge. I know, even in this sorrow, I know. So I have to remember that this is the creator. It says, remember your creator before the silver cord is loose, or the golden bowl is broken, or the pitcher shattered at the fountain, or the wheel broken at the well. Then the dust will return to the earth as it was, and the spirit will return to God who gave it. He's telling us to remember him. So even when all else fails, when our bodies fail and we return back to the dust that we were created from, baby, your journey has ended here, but the journey there continues. And so as I journey on these last couple of days leading up to my birthday, and the a level of heartbreaking um grieving that I've had to endure, I'm able to smile a little bit more. I'm able to have a little bit more strength because I am able to see that death is not final. This is a journey. Death is a journey. And it hurts on this side in this realm, but it's raining in another realm. And so, because I know that I have to choose to deny my flesh and exalt my spirit, um, you know, and I think God is also so masterful that He even allowed my grandfather to transition when he did, because He knew that if for nothing else, I would pull it together for that child of mine because he deserves it. And some people might feel like that's crazy or always false strength. No, I know what God said to me about that child, and I know what He's told me and how He told me to steward him. And he deserves to be celebrated. And He knew the one way to pull me out of a pit is to make sure that I'm not neglecting something else. So for that reason alone, I'm even grateful for that He transitioned when He did and the services for when it was, because I can honestly say that had it not, I probably would still be in a sunken space because I wanted to live and build a house in my emotions and in my flesh. So I'm just so grateful for God that He always has me on His mind, even when it doesn't feel like it, even when I don't think so. Um, so yeah, I just really wanted to come on and do a quick check-in, catch up of the last couple of days. I really just been sitting at God's feet, listening to Him in everything, every conversation, every smile, every joke, every word, like just the whispers, all of it, because He's so purposeful and He's always speaking, and I don't want to miss it. Um, I think this is going to be something that honestly propels me further into the things that I'm supposed to be. So yeah, I'm grateful. So I just wanted to come on, show my face, catch up, share that word with you guys that death is not final. So I don't know what has died in your life or who has died, but baby, it's not final. The journey has ended on this side, but it continues in the other. So we just have to return to our original states. That's what we're striving for. All of us, we live, especially as Christian, as believers, we strive to get to that identity, the root identity, the person that God created as a spiritual being, and before when He breathed in us and made man. That's what we're all doing, to try to get back to before sin, to live as holy and righteous and pure and pleasing to Him as possible. And that's how we do it. So yeah, I hope you guys are encouraged. For the next video, I would really like for you guys to send in questions or topics that you would like to talk about, that I can kind of talk through in real time with you all. I want it to be kind of engaging as well. And I feel like there are questions or things that some people, from some of the messages that I've gotten recently, that people want to talk about. So send those in and we can go from there. And I look forward to another day, another journey. I love y'all. Bye.